Welcome to Saddle Up with Steve and Jay, the Breeders' Cup Saturday edition, right here on Horse Racing World Channel. Joined as always by my colleague, Mr. Steve Pollock. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening, Jay. The biggest day of the year we're going to talk about. Super excited. Couldn't be more excited. This is a great day of betting. Make sure you have your bankroll all set. And I have said it many times before, but the tournament players are going to not be able to play the rolling pick threes, pick fours, pick fives, and pick sixes. I think it's very difficult to hit a four or five or six on this day. I would really recommend players to look at that 50-cent pick three. You got a race that you think's impossible. Play all. They're fun to watch. Root for the 90 to 1 shot because there'll be one in most of the 14 horse races, and they will have a chance, at least some chance. And I think it's a heck of a way to play. So again, a strong recommendation for me, for most of the fans, to play your pick threes, maybe in a small way, and then play your two races or three races that you really have big circles on, that you really think you have a good chance on.
I think that's sound advice. Normally, the 50-cent pick three with the paltry fields we see in Southern California have not been much to write home about. Frankly, Steve, even the dollar pick threes at Santa Anita with these 5 and 6 horse fields don't pay very much. But the 50-cent pick threes at Del Mar with the fall meet coming up can be even worse. But on Breeders' Cup Day, I actually like the idea of the 50-cent pick three because you really do want some coverage. So that's the one day of the year when I think the 50-cent pick three will pay off. And hopefully, we're going to get some payoff, Steve. And hopefully, we're going to bring home some winners. And hopefully, my Dodgers will come home a winner. You'll notice I am still wearing that Dodgers shirt from our Wednesday podcast. So I have not lost faith. Yamamoto is going today. And I think we're going to get past game 6 at any rate.
Ah, I'm a Padre fan, so I know it's tough to get to the World Series, so I salute you for that, and that's about all I want to say about that.
Fair enough. You've got a talented lineup, Steve. The Padres are not far off.
Uh,
So, yeah, I really I think if you look at their batters, I mean the batting lineup that the Padres have, the everyday lineup is stronger than the Dodgers. If you take off Otani, there's no comparison. But we won't worry about that. We're going to worry about bringing home some prices for our listeners. So we're going to kind of delve into the Saturday card a bit, and we'll give some general tips and hints along the way. We won't cover the Breeders' Cup Classic in depth again. You can see that on our Wednesday podcast with Jason Levin, which is already posted on Horse Racing World Channel and on racingjason.com. So please, if you haven't seen that yet, check it out. It was great having Jason on as a guest, and looking forward to seeing Jason again sometime down the line for a big race, maybe the Kentucky Derby. Who knows? But let's move forward and start talking about some of the goings on the Saturday card. Steve, I know we talked about bias a little bit, but I was just kind of curious in terms of bias. Do you think this is a question that's always come to my mind? You probably remember, Steve, there was a Breeders' Cup held at Santa Anita. They had it for a couple of years in a row. And one year, that track was like an asphalt highway. Nothing on the dirt strip could come from behind. It was embarrassing. And then the next year, you notice they really rectified that. They had the Breeders' Cup again for a second year, and they really straightened out that track. So, I mean, Santa Anita's always been speed biased, but it wasn't such an embarrassment like it was the year before. Do you think and anticipate that Del Mar is going to grade that track any differently for the Breeders' Cup to make it less biased?
well, that's a really good question, and since I've been going to Del Mar for, I'm embarrassed to say, let's just say over 30 years, but it's quite a bit more than that. But I have been going every day for many years. The thing about Del Mar is I don't think that they can control the track as much as they want to. I think there's other factors like wind. I think there's a big factor like groundwater with them being right next to the ocean and the tides. When the tides come in, that water goes underneath. And if we saw is I'm not going to get into the, whatever the words are for water being underneath, but groundwater could be a factor. It could make the track deeper. There's a lot of people that believe in the tides. I think it's a little bit of a combination of everything. It's really hard to exactly figure out in anticipation before you see the track. But I just want to give people a little bit of a tip here. On the Saturday card in the second race, there's a horse from the rail named Ghost of Midnight. The rail could be deader than a doornail today. This horse on sheets lays over the field. There's only a few horses in this race that have cracked 10 in their career. This horse has run 6-6, 6-6, 11-6. For those of you that are Ragged Sheep players, this horse flat out lays over the field. But he's on the dead rail at Del Mar. And if you're planning on betting Copion later in the card, because that horse is going to be on the rail in a 14-horse field, you're going to want to see how Ghost of Midnight does. If you see this horse in the middle of the pack and he's not even picking his feet up, which could happen, there's a ton of speed in this race. The race really sets up for him. The other big closer in the race is toward the outside. That's a really consistent horse, a horse named Red Flag. And if you look hard at Red Flag, you will see that the last time this horse ran, he ran against the track. It was a very big outside track. He had the rail, and it looked like he didn't really run that day, but he's 4 for 5 at Del Mar, and he runs fast enough figures to win this race, and he's the one who's in the right spot. They might both come together. The speed might go all the way, but I would use this race as a real guide, because to me, there's a lot of big speed horses in here, including the favorites, that are going to be horses that you can beat. But I would really see how Ghost of Midnight does from that rail, and I would really see how Red Flag does from that outside.
Very good. Steve, I wanted to follow up on something that you had mentioned on the Wednesday show. You thought Mandela pulled Copion out of the Tamara race so that Tamara would have a better chance to win that one. I think that's what you implied. I do think that Copion fits much better in the sprint. If you look at her record, almost every race, every victory has been won going one turn. I don't think she has a two-turn win, though she has a couple of strong races. She's never gone 6 furlongs, and now she has to deal with the rail. And I think you had mentioned on the Wednesday show that the rail might not be the place to be.
Man, you are not kidding. What a bad draw for her. I do think she hasn't been this distance. I don't think the distance is going to hurt her because she has run some amazing races. She has run away from the fillies and mares that she was going to run against, aside from the favorite. They're putting her in here, whether it's because of Tamara or whether because they thought, they wanted to keep these horses apart. But what's a huge thing for Copion is if Copion gets one of those tracks where the rail is dead, I don't care how good she is. She's going to be a very good go against in there. And I can't tell you right now. That's just the way Del Mar is. A lot of the times in these sprint races, when you're a biased player and you're trying to predict what's going to happen beforehand, the best way to really go in is to go in with an open mind and see how the track is playing. What I do see for Copion is that there's 3 or 4 horses next to her that are really closers. It really comes down to Big City Lights as the only one in the first 6 or 7 horses that is a horse that could show as much speed as her. I think they're going to either send Big City Lights out or take Big City Lights back to get Copion a good trip. And it's what a trainer can do when they train both horses. So I think Copion will be in the clear. If the inside is playing good, I think she's a good play in that race at 7-2, because I think she's a very, very good filly. But the rail in 14 horses is a dead spot to be. And my play in the race, if I think the track is what the normal Del Mar track is, or if it's playing outside, would be to try to beat her, even though I think she's as good as anybody in the race.
Yeah, well, she's got the disadvantage of the rail. It's only playing at 8% at that distance over the summer meet. She's facing boys. She's usually facing girls. She's basically possibly the victim of a pace duel. It's very easy if somebody like Big City Lights or maybe somebody else in the race gets out even with her and kind of pins her against the rail. That takes a lot of work to get past. Sometimes when you have a quality horse like Fierceness, they can overcome that with no problem, as you saw in Pacific Classic. Fierceness did that despite trouble, despite ducking in early, still easily managed to put away the early opening speed, put it away, and then held off journalism without a problem. So Copion will, with that rail draw, will probably need to do something similar.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. I mean, Fierceness did was incredible. And we've already talked about that. I mean, I can't discredit him. I don't necessarily like him to come back there, but what he did, you're absolutely right. When horses overcome trouble, you got to make an extra mark by them. And now the fact that that horse draws the rail again is really incredible. But this horse on the rail is a different story. You're talking about a filly that's running against the boys in a race with 13 horses to her outside. So she's already pinned right up against that rail. When they have a shorter field at Del Mar, they'll have that inside starting gate will start away from where the rail is. With 14 horses, there's no doing that. And it's not 5.5 where you're ahead of the gap. So you're behind the gap. You got 13 horses outside of you that are bearing into the left. Now, I don't think Copion is as fast as some of these horses that are on the outside, but Jay, she just worked in 33 and change the other day. 33-1. She worked. And according to what I saw, and again, I don't want to comment too much on the works because someone else I do pay every day to get those works, but the work was incredible. There's no doubt about it. And maybe you're right. Maybe she's just going to try to go from the inside. I think that'd be a very tough way for her to try to win the race because you have some really, really good quality speed horses in Madhouse, in Straight No Chaser, and in Ben Tornado. So my thought would be if she can clear these inside horses and then maybe just sit a little bit, it's a tough thing to do. And then if that rail's dead, those good speed horses like a Ben Tornado are going to get to just kind of ease on over. They got the angle. They're coming into the turn the right way, and that's a great way to come in at Del Mar. You want to be in contention by that turn. But that's going to be a big deal. And again, I think there are days where you can do that at Del Mar, but there are also days when that rail is just dead as a doornail and those inside horses, and there are some contenders down there, they're going to have no chance.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious, Steve. I wanted to take a look and see what the date of that work was. Okay, the date was October 26th, so it was 3 days ago. And let's see, the draw, this is, let's see,
Or the draw.
that was that before or after the draw?
I
The,
thought
that
that it
30,
was before the draw, that October 26th, because yeah, we're on the what are we at, 29th now? The draw was
well,
2 days ago, so it was the day
we
before the draw.
got you. So anyway, they didn't know they were going to draw the rail, so I don't think they were necessarily drilling her for speed. And she's not really a dedicated front runner in the fact that she's never actually made the lead except for her first stakes race in the San Ynez, and that was a four-horse field, so she kind of made the lead by default. She doesn't nor she normally is an early presser and she's not an early pace setter. And this is arguably the toughest field she's faced. It's not a group of fillies; it's a group of mostly boys. So whether she can,
And they're good horses. They are. And it's just, but she's really good. And when she ran against the horses that were lesser, Jay, she was crushing them. The race she ran at Churchill, and she was my absolute best bet that day. Unfortunately, everybody jumped on the bandwagon and she only went off at 2-1. But she is amazing and she can really run and she can be competitive with these. The problem is you can't take a short price against the bias. And that's what I've worked on all these years, trying to run with the bias and not run against it. And you might even take a lesser horse that'll be in a better position, get a better trip than what this horse will get. And again, I can see her winning the race. I'd certainly like to see how the first few races unfold. And it doesn't matter what happens the day before or the day before that, because the track can change on a given day. If something happens on a Friday and they want to change it for Saturday, they're going to do it. And so I would take it. I think those early races, that's the way I have played Del Mar, and I've had very good success there over the years. That's the way I would suggest for people to go into it if you're wanting to like Copion. I'm not going to key her no matter what. I might use her in the exotics, but I know she's the big topic of conversation, and that wasn't the race. But I think bias is going to be the real reason that I think that she's going to be a tough horse to key in that race.
yeah, I think that's an astute observation. Steve, it's about time for us to get into the meat of this show, which is we'll each do one pick for the Saturday card, and then we'll do a horse by horse where we make our case and give our best three. But before we do that, I think you have something you might want to let people know about our sponsor.
I do, Jay. I really want to thank the people at Casino House Parties. Go to casinohouseparties.com. If you want to have a party for Christmas time, you should really do that very soon because they are booking very, very fast. And I just want to give you the areas that this company is. And this is for a party that you can have in your house where you can bring a professional casino. They have great tables, craps tables, roulette tables, blackjack tables, poker. Any kind of you want to have a poker tournament at your house and you want it to be run by professionals. This is the company that you want to call. They'll come out to your house and they'll do whatever it is that you want to do. You can use the code SaddleUp50 and get $50 off your first booking. SaddleUp50 will get you $50 off your first booking. And again, it's all of Southern California, includes Palm Springs, San Bernardino County, North Los Angeles County, and all over LA and San Diego County. So it's a vast, vast group of people and a lot of good professional dealers, and the people that run it I really have become good friends with, and they're very, very nice people. So casinohouseparties.com is where you want to go for your next party.
Yeah, Steve, and they've been great with us. And as I've mentioned in the past, we are always looking to expand our roster of sponsors. Hopefully, we'll have a little more time when the Breeders' Cup busyness season is over to maybe go after proactively some of those sponsors. But if you're watching this podcast, if you've got a business that you'd like us to promote, like you see us promoting casino house parties every week, by all means, go to Horse Racing World channel, leave a comment on one of the more recent videos, and we'll be happy to get back to you. Either Steve or I will get back to you and discuss marketing rates, and we'd be happy to have more sponsors aboard. So, Steve, I guess it's that time. We're each going to give out a race, and since I'm in the host seat again this week, why don't you go first?
Oh man, come on, Jay. Absolutely, I'll go first. And I'm going to go to the Breeders' Cup Mile. It's been one of my favorite races over the years. Um, have had some extreme success in this. I was talking on the other show. I've hit the superfecta in this race for 20 some odd thousand, and I hit it in Vegas. And I would like to do that again, but I'll tell you what a pain in the neck that was getting my money. They take it pretty easily, but they didn't give it out very easily. But anyway, that's a knock for Vegas. But here's the deal, folks, on the Breeders' Cup Mile. I have watched all the horses from the United States very, very carefully this year. This is a down year. If you want to play Johannes, this horse is 2 races since he's been back. Even his win last time, I mean, he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to go when he was at Saratoga. He just didn't pick his feet up there. And I got to tell you, on sheets, on the visual, on the competition, he ran his worst race where he broke from the gate last time and won. And he actually ran 2 10s this year. It's going to take a 6 or a 7 or even a 5 to win this race. And to me, he's one of the shorter price horses in this race. Actually 8 to 1, but he's a California horse. Formidable Man is 5 for 5 or 6 for 6 now at Del Mar. And I tell you, the horses that this horse has been facing are in a different world. The horses that this horse has been beating, Cabo Spirit, King of Gosford, they're just not the same horses. And when this horse ran against Spirit of St. Louis, who's a really nice New York bred, by the way, this horse was crushed when it went down to South Florida. And this horse is 10 to 1 with JR. I just don't like the California horses in here, Jay. And I think a lot of people from California are going to want to play these horses. Okay. So East Coast horses in this race. I think they're a little light. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Program Trader has a shot. It's a Chad Brown. He's done really well in this race. And Americans have done very good in this race, actually. We won about half of these from the very beginning. So the other Breeders' Cup races have really been dominated by the Euros. So historically, what am I getting at here? Okay, let's go to the Euros in here. Everybody is going to jump on this horse's bandwagon. And the horse's name is Notable Speech. Okay? I thought Notable Speech was okay last year. And guess what? He ran third. He fired. He's not a bad horse. Look at what he's done this year. 4th beaten 2, 4th beaten 2, 5th beaten 2. I watched all the races on tape. The race that he ran, the best race by far of those races was the race 2 back. Diego Velasquez, who beat him in that race, came back and got crushed when he went to Woodbine. Okay, so maybe the horse that beat him in there wasn't any good, but Notable Speech should have won that race. He had 2 or 3 lengths of trouble. So yes, he's coming back to where he was last year. But to me, he was a length or so behind what you needed to be. So what am I getting at? I think there's a potential for a gigantic bomb in this race. Okay. And I'm going to
We
tell you who it is.
do tell, Steve. We like gigantic bombs here on Saddle Up with Steve and Jay.
I just want to tell you, if you can put this horse in your pick three, if you want to make a win bet on it, make a small win bet on him. Don't put too much pressure on it because that's not the way gambling works. But I'm going to tell you, there's a crazy horse in here that I really think has a chance. I'm going to start my case by saying 8 or 10 years, well, I think it was about 10 plus years ago, there was a Japanese horse that won at 100 and some odd dollars that won the Breeders' Cup Turf Mile. Nobody had a mark on the horse. The horse won one. So that's happened before. Secondly, last year when all the Japanese horses that came over, everybody said they ran terrible. But you know why they ran terrible? Because all the favorites from Japan that were bet in the sprint race and that were bet in the Breeders' Cup Classic didn't fire, right? The one that came over for the distaff didn't fire. The ones that did fire were in the Breeders' Cup Turf. The Turf mile and a half, they ran second and third. The second place horse, a long shot, almost won the race, was a Japanese horse. And in the Breeders' Cup Mile, the fourth place finisher was 58 to 1, beaten less than a length at 58 to 1. And the fifth place horse was 31 to 1. He was beaten 2 lengths in the race. Okay. So that's a little bit of my case. All right. Here we go. Not a whole lot of pace in this race. And I really wanted to like this New York bred because he's really a stone runner and he's rhetorical. He didn't draw the best post, but I think that's a little bit of a factor. But I like the 9, Argene, 20 to 1 morning line. Okay. This horse has won $1.5 million, is running in Japan. I went over and I watched all the races on tape, and I'm thoroughly convinced that every single one of those fields, 14, 17, 14, 16, 18, 14, 13, 16, that's the number of horses that were in those races. Huge fields. This horse fires every time. It's hard to get numbers on these horses because whether it's Brisnet or whether it's Ragozin or whether it's Thorograph, and I think all 3 companies are great. In fact, I pay all 3 of them for information. I think they're all good, but I don't think their stuff for overseas is worth a darn because they're not there. They're not doing the same things that they're doing for this country. And they don't have a clue what's going on over in Japan. But when I see the fields that this horse is running at and the way this horse is running in the stretch, and then I see who are the Japanese riders that's going to ride this one, because I don't know anything about any of them. They pick up Frankie Dettori. So that kind of caught my attention. And I wanted to look into it. I don't know who this trainer is. So I went to the internet and I looked it up. I got to find out who this guy is. 20 years ago, who do you think this guy was the assistant to? How about Bobby Frankel?
Really?
I thought that really struck me. So that's why I started building the case. And I went back and I watched this horse. Now, I got to tell you, I wish there was more speed in the race. I don't see a whole lot of pace in this race. That's going to help a European horse like the favorite because they're going to sit close covered and then they're going to kick. But this horse still has a wicked kick. Can Dettori work a price out? I'm sure he's ridden more races like this that are bunched up because they're used to that in Europe. So I really like the case that Dettori's on this horse. And I'm going to tell you, those horses last year, they went off at 40 and 50 to 1. Nobody's going to play this horse. I'm thinking this horse will be 30, 35 to 1. Put him in your pick 3. Put who you like in there. Put him in your pick 3. I am going to play some exotics in this race. I'm going to use rhetorical because I do think he's the one horse that could win this race wire to wire. It's so hard to win this race wire to wire. I think the last horse to do it, and again, I went through this last night. I think the last horse that I remember doing it was Lure. That was long, long time ago at Santa Anita. He did it from an outside post. This horse has looked very, very good right from the beginning. New York bred and all. He did win that race, I thought, fairly easily. The horse that he beat, Program Trading, has the right trainer. It is Chad Brown. These Chad Brown horses have done really well in the mile. He won it with Uni. He's been competitive. I'm going to give this horse a shot. And then the other horse that I have to use is Notable Speech. But listen, when I see Charlie Appleby and I see William Buick, especially when William Buick is going to be the best rider in here, I know this horse is going to get a trip. I know what he's going to do. I just don't think he's special. I think the horse is a really good horse. Maybe this is the right field. But as a big favorite, I think 5 to 2 is actually right on this horse. I think the horse is good. I think a lot of people think this horse is great, but I see all these races and I don't see greatness in this horse. I see the last 10 races for this horse, or the last 9 races, or the races at this distance. He's 3 for 9. No big deal. 1 for 5 this year, and I watch him, and he was really good 2 races ago, and last time he faced a nothing field. I just feel like he's a favorite that's beatable, that has incredible connections. So I'm not throwing him out, but I like this 9 horse Argene to upset the apple cart. It's 9 with the 2 notable speech, the 5 program training, and the only speed that I see is the 11 rhetorical. If you want to box all 4 in the try, you can do that. I think did we say there was 50-cent tries, Jay? I think you can do that for $12 if that's the
Yeah,
case. But it's nine
exactly.
with two, 9 with 2, 5, and 11.
Yeah, Steve, I will say, I was looking at that mare myself. She was entered, pre-entered in 2 races, and I was curious which one she would show up. But yeah, the record's impressive. She's beaten males in the 2 stakes on the card, and now, she again will get a chance here against males as well, which she's already proven. That one race, the Victoria Mile, is one of the bigger races in Japan. It's a $2 million purse. And she was only half a length off the win at 8-1, so she outran her odds. So yeah, I certainly give your horse a puncher's chance.
Jay, I do want to ask you this because you're very, very good with your analysis. I'm probably a little better with the analysis of the American horses. Maybe I'm not, but I feel like I have a good beat on the American horses. And I really, as a whole, I think this is just a slightly below average group. And you can't be below average and win this race. And so I do want to ask you, as a whole, what do you think of the American horses in this race? And then I want to ask you about the one European notable speech. I know there's some other horses in there. I did watch the tapes on all of them. The Lion is in winter. I respect Aiden O'Brien. I just didn't like what I saw on tape. This other horse, the 3 horse, is an improving 3-year-old. I never want to throw an improving 3-year-old out, but I thought that horse was just okay on tape, not great. What about notable speech? Where is this horse? Is this horse a cut above, you think, of these, or is this horse a little bit overrated?
Okay, first of all, as far as your first question about the American horses, arguably the best one is either a Formidable Man or a Program Trading. They're both 10-1. That shows you what the odds are. Yeah, Rhetorical certainly will show some early speed. Not as, I think he'll be sitting off Formidable Man. I think Formidable Man is more likely to get the lead of these if one of the Americans can make a lead. But yeah, there have been years when we've had American horses that are somewhat on a par. I don't think Johannes is anymore. Johannes was second in this race last year, and I think Johannes has declined a bit. So I don't think you're seeing the same Johannes. It's hard for me to really see a threat. As far as notable speech goes, Steve, I pointed this out after the Woodbine Mile, when notable speech just ran past those horses, just kicked into another gear, which William Buick can often do. Notable speech just seems loaded for bear. Uh, I was hoping, to be honest with you, that there'd be a little better price than 5-2. I was hoping that he would not be the favorite in here, but I guess the line maker and a lot of people saw that Woodbine Mile and were suitably impressed. I'm not crazy about betting him as a value at 5-2. I don't think he quite justifies that, and I don't think he's a standout above these. I think some of these other horses, I think the Lion in Winter could certainly be a threat in here off his best day from Aidan O'Brien and Christophe Soumillon. And that Queen Elizabeth II race is one of the better races over in Europe. It's a $1.5 million race. And in that race, he was just 1.25 lengths off the lead. And, I think that winner, Cicero's Gift, would beat this field fairly handily. Obviously, he finished right behind Sahan, who's also 6-1. And Henry Francis Graffard is not a trainer that you see as often out here, but he's been very, very successful. I think
Had a
he's
good
just a
year.
yeah, I think he's just a notch below Aiden O'Brien, Andre Fobb,
Trying to get
and
into that
Appleby.
level.
Sorry, Steve.
Trying to get to that level. I agree with you. The guy's definitely an up and comer. He's in his late 40s, but he's definitely an up and comer.
Yeah, and that group won at the Qatar Prix du Moulin at De Longchamp is after the Arc, it's one of the better races out there in France, and won it nicely. So I think Sahan fits in here. So I like Sahan and the Lion and Winner equally as much as I do Notable Speech, and all three of them are going to be on my exotic tickets, and I will certainly use Argene on my exotic tickets because we just don't have class numbers on the Japanese horses like we do the European horses. And I think that's somebody that is a must use as well. I'll be using all four of those on my exotic tickets. I don't know if I'll add anybody else, but those four I guarantee will be on it.
All right. Where are we going for your race, Jay?
All right, we're going to go to the last race on the card, Steve, and it is the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. And in this one, on the Wednesday show with Jason, we showed the arc, the stretch run that was won by, his name, it was the second place horse is, of course, the big favorite today in the turf, and that's Mini Hawk. But Gazora was considerably off those, 13, 10 lengths behind. And I don't think Gazora from that exactly got legged up for her best. She's a little better than Bedtime Story, has beaten her twice, but I think this is a beatable favorite coming in off meh form. The form obviously doesn't impress me. Obviously, those horses were much, much better. Mini Hawk, who's running in the bigger turf race here, would beat these. I think Darras, who headed Mini Hawk, would beat these. So, yeah, it's probably not a fair comparison, but Gazora coming off that kind of form and making an American debut, different kind of course. The track over the turf course over there, as usual for the Arc, was soft, and you'll get anything but soft here. It's gonna be a very firm course, and I just don't know that Gazora, who seems to like soft courses in general, even though it was overmatched in the Arc, is going to really take to the Del Mar course. I'm not. I'll bet against it. The American horse, the co-favorite, you would say, at 4-1, is She Feels Pretty, and She Feels Pretty certainly has done little wrong. If you look at those last 10 races, she's won, what is it, seven of them, and has been right there, close finisher in the trifecta in the other three, or the other four, excuse me. So She Feels Pretty makes very few mistakes. Having said that, that's against not quite as strong American competition. Last time she was ahead behind Diamond Rain, and this is
At the
a
front.
yeah, and I know you've mentioned Diamond Rain before, one of the Charlie Appleby stable here. And how good was Diamond Rain in over in Europe? Well, it was a Group 3 winner, handicap winner. The time it ran in a Group 2 just got trounced, but the horse has improved since then. I think she is still on the improve. Whether she can improve enough to beat this field, I don't know. And she feels pretty just beat her. So I will try to beat She Feels Pretty as well. I hate to go against both Applebee's. I'm going to try to beat Cinderella's Dream as well. That's the one Buick does ride on, and Cinderella's Dream has been impressive over here. Last year, almost won this race, just behind Mora, and won a couple of nice preps over in New York before that. Cinderella's Dream is certainly a quality horse, but the one I like is down at the bottom, Steve, and that's number 14, See the Fire, with one of Jason Levin's favorite riders, O'Sheen Murphy. This one just came off probably one of the best races these have run in, excluding the Arc, where Gazora was completely overmatched. But the Prix de l'Opera is one of the bigger races over in France. Just missed a Barnavara over there, but the impressive one is the back in the Juddmonte International, the Juddmonte International two back, and that one she was 4 3/4 lengths off Ombudsman. Ombudsman may be the best mile and a half horse in the world. Just lost to her arch rival over there in the 1 1/8 mile champion stakes. But in that race, that is not Ombudsman distance. Ombudsman was actually, they were considering sending Ombudsman out here for the Breeders' Cup Turf, but they just decided they'll go straight to Japan, and they're going to have a rematch over there with Dagan, who just beat Ombudsman in the Champion Stakes. But See the Fire, that race in the Juddmonte International was, even though it was a short field, it was the best field that any of these have faced. Delacroix was right behind. Delacroix has now been retired. I wanted to ask Jason about that, but that is the son of Dubawi and Tepin, one of his favorite horses. So I think Delacroix could really have an impressive career at stud with that kind of pedigree. But anyway, I just think See the Fire has been facing the best horses here, and I think the 5-1 price is fair. I think you'll get that. I think that Group 2 race in Dubai, where just aired and won by 12 lengths, points this one out. I know See the Fire, like some of the others we've talked about, like Precise, like Justad. You've got another horse that's drawn out in the parking lot. But Steve, this is a mile and 3/8, and at a mile and 3/8, actually the eight post out of six races at the last meet was 23%. The outside posts at this longer distance actually did pretty well. So I think this one, even though the draw on paper looks like it's a handicap, it may not be. I think See the Fire drew the best out of all these horses that are quality that drew the outside. And I'm liking number 14, See the Fire, and I think you're going to get that 5-1.
Well, I'm not gonna dispute your ability to pick a great looking horse. This is a great looking horse. The 14 hole is horrendous at a mile and 3/8. It's horrendous. If Oyson can't get this horse into the two path, then I will tell you that no horse has ever won this race from the three path at a mile and 3/8 for the all the years that I've been going, and that's about maybe 400 or 500 races that I've seen at this distance in all the years that I've been going. I've never seen a horse win from the three path. He has got to get him over. There is a lot of speed in this race for this distance. And I think it's a disaster for She Feels Pretty. I think she's a really good go against. So I will say that this is a very, very nice horse that you've chosen, but the post position is going to be what the horse is going to have to overcome. Here's the good news, though. This guy is an amazing rider. I mean, he was so good at Gulfstream, it was ridiculous. And he figured it out at Gulfstream. He figured out where he needed to be. When I watched him down there, I watched him for 2 or 3 months just dominate. Uh, Great riders. I mean, the top riders were all down there, and he was amazing. So I love the fact that this guy is on your horse, and I think that this horse is coming in with the best form at a price. What you're going to have to overcome is that post position.
No question about it. But at least it wasn't that terrible in the last meet. I guess historically, from what you say, it's been pretty terrible. So I'm
Well,
kind of
here's
hoping.
what happened last meet. There were several horses. There was a horse to go wire to wire. First time in 6 years from the eight post. It was the far outside in that race. Horse crossed and cleared. And there were several horses that got to the inside position from the outside. You can't win this race from the three path. You got to get to the two path, and preferably you be in the one path, because saving ground at Del Mar is huge. And if you're a much faster horse than the other horses, like this horse may be, including the horses that we talked about in the on the 2-year-old races that are 13 and what have you. But this is 3 turns. This is around 3 turns. So to me, it's even more extreme. But there is a lot of speed in this race, Jay. And I'm telling you, this guy's a talented guy. And you got the horse that you are confident in that is the best horse in the race. So I'm not throwing it out. I'm just telling you what you've got to overcome. And that being said, that's what it's all about. You know everything about it, and is it a value or is it not? And I'm telling you, you're betting a very, very good horse, and it seems that that's been the theme, because the horse I think in the Breeders' Cup Sprint is the same thing. I think Copion is a very good horse. I just think she's in a tougher spot. Now, this horse has a lot of time to make up for it, maybe has the right rider, and does have a good pace scenario. So it really is going to be up to Oyson Murphy, who's a great rider, to figure this out.
Yeah. All right, Steve, and we're going to play a trifecta here, and we're going to sink a few bucks into this one because I think the value is there. We're going to use the following horses. We're going to use, or following fillies, excuse me, and mares. We're going to start it off, or we'll go From the rail order, we're going to use number 2, Stellify, who's 30 to 1 from Brad Cox. When do you ever get 30 to 1 on Brad Cox? This one has won 4 straight, improving with every class level, improving with every speed figure. This one is just going up and up, and I think it's a ridiculously good price on Stellify as a possible trifecta horse, trifecta filly. So we'll start with Stellify. We're also going to use number 5, Gazora, the horse exiting the arc. Yeah, I'm not a big fan, but she's certainly been facing excellent horses. Not quite to the level I think that See the Fire has, but she's got to be in there. We'll have to use number 6, Diamond Rain, who just dueled it out with She Feels Pretty, and it's Charlie Appleby. I'm not going to leave Charlie Appleby out of my trifecta.
Yeah,
I
blame you.
am going to I'm going to skip over Be Your Best. I'm going to try Beat Her today. I think there's a case to be made that she's not in the top 3 here. We'll also use number 9, Cinderella's Dream. Obviously, Appleby's main horse with William Buick. We're also going to use number 11, Bedtime Story, Aidan O'Brien, Christophe Soumillon again. Certainly, this one's been facing quality competition. Calipana has been duking it out with horses like Calendagan and Ombudsman, not faring as well. But when you're facing those kind of horses, Bedtime Story certainly fits in the trifecta picture. We'll use number 12, Beleza, who just beat Be Your Best and wasn't that far behind She Feels Pretty. And yeah, I've got to use She Feels Pretty. I'm hoping at that short price she's nowhere to be found.
I don't
But
think she's going to be found.
yeah, I'm hoping you're right, Steve, but I got to use her my trifecta ticket at any rate. We're gonna play it like so. It's gonna cost a few bucks. I haven't calculated it, but we're gonna play 7 horses in the second slot, 14 with 2, 5, 6, 9, 11, 12, 13 with all, and then the saver ticket I usually give out 2, 5, 6, 9, 11, 12, 13 with number 14, See the Fire in the second slot, and then 2, 5, 6, 9, 11, 12, 13. This ticket's going to cost over $100. You have to
Forty-two
be.
dollars, Jay, for if you play it for 50 cents, it's $42 to go 1 by 7 by all.
It's only 42.
42 bucks for 50 cents. It'd be 7 times the remaining horses, which is 12, which is 84, and then it's a 50-cent bet. So it would be $42 for 50 cents.
Excellent,
The
Steve. And they
first
said
ticket.
you weren't paying attention in college. Uh,
No, I listen, I'm a math person, and what I don't like to do is mess with the computer, and I always take advantage of my wife. That's mine.
I appreciate it. So yeah, obviously the saver ticket will cost less than that. So it's a value. I will have my money on that ticket, and I think if I'm right, you're going to get rewarded. So the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf, the Breeders' Cup Mile, you've got our picks. But now it's probably everyone's favorite segment that's a regular viewer of this. It is our horse by horse analysis, our deep dive into one race here, and we're going to make that race the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, which on this card is race, I'm getting there. It is race 5. And that race at Del Mar is 5 furlongs on the turf. In other venues, it's been 7 furlongs, 7.5, but it only makes sense to go 5 furlongs here. And we will start with the rail. Steve, what do you think of Motorius?
Man, is he good? I mean, he's just really, really good. He showed more speed last year in this race, and he had the same post position than he showed last time out. And I just wonder if he's getting a little bit older. But I'll tell you what, man, his sheet, he paired his top last time at 7. That's tough to do, and he's had time since. I like anything second time D'Amato. I mean, I can't throw this horse out. I can't pick him to win because I think it's so hard to loop in this race. It's just so hard. But I see a lot of speed in this race. I think it's going to be won by somebody maybe that's coming from a little off the pace, even with the really, really nice horses in here that are speed horses. I'm putting Motorius in the mix, but I'm not going to pick this horse on top.
Yeah, boy, did he fly late, Steve. 12, 11, then boom. Frizzou just got this guy set down and just ran his eyeballs out down the stretch. Got that freight train trip that Trevor Denman used to talk about. Nose off the winner, who's drawn just outside, but hey, that winner shifted out or shifted in. I'll be honest, I did not see the film on this one yet. I still have some time. It's Saturday. I'm going to watch that film before I make any betting decisions. But the interference was bad enough that Reef Runner was taken down and Matorius was put up, making it 4 for 5 at Del Mar and 1 second. That wasn't the second that was considered one of the wins. That said, I'm never thrilled with the rail, turf or dirt at a short distance like 5 furlongs. So it'd be hard for me to pick Matorius on top, contender for my top three. And then you've got the horse that just finished ahead of him on paper, but was taken down, and that was Reef Runner. Reef Runner got first run, didn't have to make up nearly as fast, was only 3 lengths out at the stretch, and then yeah, under Paco Lopez interfered with Matorius and was taken down to second for that. Paco, of course, has been doing a lot of that, which is why Paco's not riding for a while. Yeah, Paco's got to work on those things a little bit. Arad Ortiz, manages to hide those things pretty well. Paco has not disguised his aggressive rides.
They're 1 and 1A. I love it when they run against each other. But you're
Yeah, but Arad's riding today for the big money, and Paco's enjoying a 6 month vacation somewhere.
they're both rich, so it doesn't probably matter. He's probably
Yeah.
no, he's probably not because he's so competitive. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No worries. So yeah, I think Reef Runner has more, obviously more tactical speed than Matorius. He doesn't draw the rail, and he's going to get first run of Matorius. So yeah, with Tyler Gaffleone, an absolute top class rider, a top 5 rider in the country aboard. I think I'll be honest, Steve. I think Tyler's a little better rider than Lopez, and as good as Ayuso is as a local rider, Gaffleone rides rings around Ayuso in terms of riding ability. Reef Runner is at 6 to 1 is a contender for my top three at the end, and we'll talk about that. What do
Yeah,
you
I
think?
think he's a contender too. I mean, how do you throw this horse out? He just runs. I don't like the fact, two things. He's inside, and I think inside being a deep closer. I know this. I know Motorius almost did it last year, and inside is actually a good place to be, but you got to be tactical. And that's what this Reef Runner is gonna. And he comes out of 6.5. Now, a horse has come out of the 6.5 and paid $30. It was a California horse Peter Miller trained. The name escapes me right now, but he won it twice. He won it 2 years in a row. That horse did. That being said, I just think Reef Runner coming out of that race is going to be in the wrong spot. But I'm with you. I love the rider, Gaffleone. This is an open race, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of those inside numbers on there. I've got to leave him out, though.
Okay, I mean it's a talented field. You can't cover everybody. Steve, what do you think about European Invader Arizona Blaze?
God, he's good. He's a really, really good horse. I liked his race here last year. He just missed against the 2 year olds. He's run good race after good race. He had one bad start 2 races ago. He's got a freshening. I think he's going to be in a good position. I like this rider, David Egan. I think this horse has a good chance for it all, and I think he's going to run a good race.
Yeah, so do I. And you'll notice David Egan chose him last time over another horse he was riding, and I'll talk about that when we get down there. But yeah, Arizona Blaze has a lot going for him. A lot of these horses have been only running on the straightaway. In Europe, these 5 furlong races are almost all straightaway races with no turns. Kind of like a quarter horse version of our races here. But Arizona Blaze obviously has 2 turn experience because he ran last year in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint, which was 5 furlongs over this course, and showed some tactical speed under Rispoli and almost got the job done behind Magnum Force, another Charlie Appleby. So yeah, Arizona Blaze is in my top tier of contenders here. I always kind of take a fresh look at the end, decide if who's going to be the number one. He's a contender for it, Steve. Let's look at number 4, Kadeem, under the Turf Master, Frankie Dettori. Kadeem just won the Grade 2 Woodford Stakes at Keeneland. Just finished in the Grade 2 Turf Sprint at Kentucky Downs, close behind Bear River, who frankly was a fairly big long shot in that race. So based on that, but he couldn't beat Bear River and beat Script, who's okay, beat Joe Shiesty, who's okay. I didn't really like Kadeem that much that day. I didn't like that 3-1 price. Um, yeah, Kadeem, I just this field is too deep. I'm hard. It's hard for me to go with Kadeem against these or Kadem against some of these better horses. I'd have to leave him out of my top three.
He's out of it. He's out for me. I'm going to give you two reasons. That was a lousy field last time, and I know he beat them all. And I'm going to go over the horse that I liked in that race, and I think that was one of the horses. Maybe you put him second, I put him first, and he didn't run all that great, and he's back in here. I didn't like that race. I don't like the fact that he's 9. I don't like the fact that they're making an equipment change on a horse that has 42 starts for a big race. Dettori, that's a plus, but for me, I'm going to pass on Kadeem altogether.
Okay, Steve is will bring the band back home, bring home the gold.
Ran great in his 2 races at Saratoga, and on sheets, he's the fastest horse. Those 2 races come up the fastest races, even of the Euros. Even if I take off the points that I do for a horse like Arizona Blaze, the problem I have with Bring Home the Gold is he is going to be speed. I think one speed horse is going to run better than him that I really wanted to put on top, but I think this race just came up with too much front speed, and I want to be behind. But I think this is a really nice horse, and I'll tell you on sheets this horse has a chance. And a lot of times in these sprint races, when you play against the speed horse, and then all of a sudden they're out there on the lead, and you're like, well, how did that just happen? I mean, that's the way this horse could win. But to me, he's going to be in between. He's got he's got a horse, AG Bullet, who's really, really fast, and then he's got another 3-year-old filly named She's So Spicy that's really, really fast. That's going to be the undoing for Bring Home the Gold, who is one heck of a nice horse. And he could bounce back off of his last race. He didn't break very well in that race at Woodbine, and I think that could be what cost him. But I just don't know how this horse is going to get the lead. And I don't blame you if you pick him, but I think he's going to get beat based on pace.
Yeah, I just think class wise, disappointment after winning the grade two at Saratoga. That was obviously a quality field, and then just caved badly in a speed duel against a lesser field. A grade two field at Woodbine is nowhere near what a grade two field is at Saratoga. And yeah, I agree with you completely. I just think, he's inside. There's gonna be a lot of pace pressure. I think he's up the track.
Well, I mean, you and I do things a little bit differently. I mean, to me, that field at Woodbine was better than the field at Saratoga. But no balls was in there, no Nate Hudson was in there. But I just thought that this horse lost the race because of trip. I don't necessarily think that the one field was better than the other field just because one was at one track, one was at the other. But that being said, again, this horse has the fastest races on ragas and sheets. It's 2 races in a row that were the fastest races by a couple of points. And you got to give him some credit for that. I just think pace wise that this horse could be a little bit up against it.
Yeah, no question about that. Number 6, Governor Sam. This one's obviously a contender off his third place finish to Magnum Force and Arizona Blaze in last year's rendition of this race at this distance over this course. And yet, Arad Ortiz abandons. He's had one win in the last 7, and that win was over a good field, grade 3 at Saratoga. But just seems like this one has been, settling for minor awards. I don't sense that this one has the same winning spirit that he had at 2 years old when he won most of these races. Some of these horses, Steve, they just peak at 2. Torpedo Anna is a perfect example. She just wasn't as good when she came back. And that's not quite the same thing because we're Torpedo Anna, we're talking about a 3-year-old going to 4. But at the same time, my point was, some of these horses just peak younger. I think we've probably seen the best of Governor Sam. Um, at 15 to 1, I'm tempted. I mean, you do get Flavian Pratt, perhaps the best turf jock in the country, but I'm just having a hard time seeing it.
Well, you said that he hasn't improved since he was a young horse. You ready for this? Here's the numbers from Ragozin. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. What do you not see in those numbers? That this horse has not improved, Jay. You're right on the money. You're seeing it very clearly with this horse. What I liked about this horse last time was it was his second time blinkers off. And I thought, this is the time this horse is going to go forward. He got the perfect trip. He got the lead. And he got run down by a 9-year-old that I don't like in this race. I don't think you really know what style this horse wants to do. He's a big speed horse that took blinkers off. They tried to change his style. I think it's too late for this horse to try to improve. Pratt and all, I'm tossing him.
Yeah. Are you tossing number seven, She's Quality, or is she the real deal?
Yeah, I mean, she's a length and a half behind Arizona Blaze. I mean, this is a pretty talented looking little horse. She's 4 years old, has a chance to improve. I know this guy can ride, but I think it was a big length and a half. I thought she was outrun by Arizona Blaze in that race, and I'm mainly going by that. If you like this horse, I can't blame you. I see some horses in the PPs like Bradsell, who was very good when that horse came over here. But I'm going to pass on She's Quality off of what I saw on tape. I just don't think she's quite good enough.
Yeah, I mean that was a flat race. And this will be going around a turn. The two horses that are in here that finished ahead of her. She didn't finish far behind. There was a huge field. It was 15 horses. And things can change when you're on a different course and when you're going around a turn. I can't throw She's Quality out. She will be on any. I don't know if I'm playing that pick three sequence. I haven't finished finalizing the Saturday card yet. But I'm going to have to finish that tonight because we're coming right up on it, aren't we?
Yeah.
But
But Jay, I just want to say when we talked about it earlier, we said that there might be some pick threes where you could hit the all ball, and I'm throwing out a horse like She's Quality who got beat by the horse that I've sort of so far that I've kind of liked the most of what we've gone through. This horse got beat a length, and in one length you can't say that that horse can't win the race. So far to me, this is not the worst all box race for those guys playing the pick three.
agreed. But yeah, She's Quality will be a use for me if I put a pick three in, and I haven't decided that yet. All right, I'm looking at number eight, AG Bullet, and AG Bullet has been obviously facing Americans. When she's faced grade one competition last year in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, not far behind Notorious. That was a race where, contrary, that was won by a huge long shot. Starlust, who I looked at and I was like, oh, why didn't I have Starlust on my ticket? Because I was looking at Starlust and I didn't use him. And yeah, I was disappointed then. That was a giant payoff. Starlust was 30 to 1 or something like that. But yeah, AG Bullet was right there. So obviously, when a 30 to 1 horse wins, it might not be the strongest rendition of this a race. I think, this year's field is probably stronger. Nevertheless, AG Bullet. Speed wise, figures. I mean, obviously the line maker thinks he's got a shot at 4 to 1. It's not going to be in my top three, but again, it's almost hard to leave this one off a spreading ticket. And like you say, it might be the kind of ticket where if you're spreading enough of them, like Jason always says, don't leave out one horse, don't leave out two horses. When you finish your handicapping, if it's you've got a 13 horse field, 12 horse field, and you think 10 of them have a shot, yeah, you better use the other two. So AG Bullet will have to be on any tickets I use will not be in my top three today at the end of this show.
Yeah, I mean, she's not in my top three for one reason and one reason only, and that is that I see two other big speed horses in here. The way this race is going to shake down, She's So Spicy is really quick, and I really want to like her. We'll get to her. And we already talked about Bring Home the Band, who's run the fastest numbers on the rag numbers, and he's super fast inside of her. So can AG Bullet win? Absolutely. She's a magnificent filly. She's run great here at Del Mar, even though she's got that 1-for-3 record with 2/3. Remember, she tried to stretch out here in the matriarch, and she only got beat a length by a couple of Chad Brown horses, and he dominates that matriarch. This is a really high quality, really neat horse. I don't like JR when things are tight. When things are going to get in tight, he's just not my favorite rider for that kind of horse. But he's an incredible grade one rider. And it's hard to really knock this horse. I'm not putting her in my top three.
Yeah, JR's had one chance at her and won a grade one at Saratoga.
Yes,
So
he did.
even if what you say is true at JR's age, I mean the guy's 46, 47, whatever. Maybe he's not the prime JR, just like Javier Castellano is not the prime Javier Castellano that won 4 Eclipse Awards in a row. But nevertheless, they're still high quality riders. He certainly fits AG Bullet, so I'm not too worried about JR, but yeah, if it's a rider's race, if this one's riding against riders like William Buick, who's just a master in his prime, yeah, I don't think JR, given the same quality horse, matches up. I would agree with you. Moving on to number 9, Bear River, Steve.
No, I mean, on sheets, he's got a shot, but that sheet, the last numbers at Kentucky Downs, and there are some horses that come out of Kentucky Downs races. We've got to look at them. I really did start to watch that meet carefully at the end of the meet. Um, Boy, this horse was really an upsetting horse for me because I was doing real well in the tournament and I did not pick this horse. I went with another speed horse in there, and this one got clear and ended up being the one to go wire to wire. It was a very speed biased track. His numbers before that last race are nowhere near these. So if you're a numbers person, I would not look so much at that last number. Looks like a bouncer anyway. I think you got to take Kentucky Downs with a grain of salt. I think Bear River's a toss.
Oh, I think he's been very, very, I think he's basically been bet appropriately. He's been knocking horses, knocking heads with some decent horses. But when he, tries grade 1 competition like the Franklin Simpson last year, just completely up the track. He's been doing most of his damage against in overnight stakes, with much lesser competition. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bear River finish dead last.
Well, Bear River beat Howard Wallowitz in the last race that he ran, but
Yeah.
in the grade one, Howard Wallowitz won it. So that's why I like to look at each race individually. But that being said, I think this horse is overmatched.
So do I. All right, number 10, She's So Spicy. I think you've got some feelings about this, but I guess it's my turn up, so you get to go second here. I like She's So Spicy. I think the race against Arizona Blaze, though, basically there was an excuse for that, ducked out at the start and never really got into the race. So you can say it's a toss. I mean, it would have been nice if this one had been able to overcome that trouble and make up some ground. Unfortunately, she did not. The question is, how good is she? And I think the answer is this is an American horse that has done well over here. It's a grade 3 winner, and this is one that Jose D'Angelo, just like Wesley Ward and George Weaver and Patrick Biancone, there's a small segment of American trainers that will ship the American horses over to the Ascot meet and see what they can take down. So obviously, D'Angelo, who works a lot with Irad Ortiz, had some confidence in this one, and things did not go well. If things did go well, I think She's So Spicy could be a contender for a piece of this, but I think everything's got to go her way.
Yeah, it's the pace thing that I don't like. Boy, do I like this horse. I mean, I liked all of her American races. The race at Ascot, I didn't think she had as much trouble. I mean, there's a lot of comments in the racing forum for this Breeders' Cup that are just so bad. It's absolutely incredible, some of the comments that were made. I'm like, what was this guy watching? I'm watching it slow motion from every angle. You're doing it for a living. I'm doing it for a living in a different way. And you're just so wrong. But this one to me, I didn't think this horse ducked out all that badly, and that was kind of a little bit of a negative for me in that race. But maybe she just didn't take the ship. Everything else about her, and I like the fact that she's fresh. I love these fresh fillies. I'm not afraid to bet a 3-year-old against older. She gets 5 pounds. That's not that big a deal to me, but it might be something out of the gate. She's really quick, and I give her a chance, but 6-1. And I think this race is not going to be won by a speed. I think it's going to be an absolute Zookus at the end. My friends and I used to call turf races where 6 horses at the back and 6 at the front all come together. We call them Zookuses. This is going to be one of those. And I think she could be in the middle of the Zookus.
Okay, I hear you. Steve, number 11, Bucanero Fuerte.
I didn't think this horse was as good as Arizona Blaze, but he is kind of a speed horse. Rispoli's going to really have to work a trip out on this horse. I was really trying to figure out a way to get this one in, but it's really tough to be outside unless you're going to cross and clear or take back and move over. This would have been a better post position for one of those closers. I think the post position really hurts this horse. I don't know that Rispoli's the best fit for this horse. So I'm doing some peripheral things in a horse that's won 2 races in a row And then just was beat by a horse that's going to be one of my top horses in Arizona Blaze by a length. But I think post position wise and the way this race shapes up doesn't help this horse. 11 post is very tough in this race. I'm passing.
Steve, this is interesting. I'm going to put on my jockey trainer analysis hat here. I know this is not an area that you dig into as well, but I'm fascinated by it. If you look, David Egan was the rider of both Bucanero Fuerte and Arizona Blaze coming into that last race, the Group 1, Bar 1 Racing Flying 5. And Egan, both horses are trained by Adrian Murray, who's a really up and coming young trainer in England. He's going to be one of the best, in my opinion. He's probably pretty close right now. He's like I think he's potentially the next Charlie Appleby. And of course, Egan was put on that race with Arizona Blaze, and Egan that was the right choice for Murray and Egan as that horse beat Bucanero Forte and a couple of others in here. But this is not a 5 furlong flat race. This is around a turn. And Bucanero Forte has not run around a turn as far as I know. I have to make sure none of these 6 furlongs were around a turn. Most of them are flats. There might have been a couple that were. I'll have to double check. The last one I know he ran around a turn was back in September 23rd at Curragh in the very tough race, the Group 1 Goss Vincent O'Brien National, and finished well back. But Henry Longfellow was a really, really good turf horse, just below the best, and no shame in losing to Henry Longfellow. So this is going around a turn again. And obviously, Murray keeps Egan on here. The other jock, Colin Keane, who inherited the mount, did pretty well behind Arizona Blaze, chooses not to come back and ride him, gets off and rides She's Quality, which is why I give She's Quality a shot. Even though She's Quality finished ahead behind Bucanero Fuerte, She's Quality certainly has a chance to do this, and this is She's Quality's first time around 2 turns. So I give She's Quality a chance here as well. But I have to give Bucanero Fuerte, again, going around 2 turns, a chance here. I don't like her as much as She's Quality or him as much as She's Quality, but this is one I'd put some show dough on. Must use in the trifectas if you're keying somebody else. For a win bet, I'm going to have a win and show bet on She's Quality. I just like that one a little bit more. But this one at 20 to 1 definitely could bring you some show dough.
All right, I'm sorry. Is She's Quality in a different race? Did I lose track of what you were saying there?
No, She's Quality isn't in this one, right? She's Quality is number
Oh,
7.
number 7. Okay, I'm sorry. For
Yeah,
some reason or another, I thought you went to a different race. Got it.
yeah.
Okay,
So yeah, these two are ahead apart, going a flat, and now we're
got it.
going around a turn. So it's
Perfect.
anybody's guess. Yeah, obviously Arizona Blaze deserves favoritism over both of those competitors that Arizona Blaze narrowly beat, and is only 3 year old and is on the improve. But again, 5 to 1. We're looking for prices, and when they're that close, I will be swayed sometimes by the prices if they are that close, and they are. Uh, Steve, it's time to look at another Japanese horse here, and that's number 12, Invincible Papa. And again, it's hard to measure class, but this one ran in a Group 3 in Japan and won it from post 17 over 16 other competitors under Sasaki, who comes back on this one. I don't know if this Sasaki is the brother of the other Sasaki, R Sasaki. This is D Sasaki. I'm guessing they're probably related. I don't know that. I haven't looked it up. But anyway, obviously fits the horse. This one also won a $300,000 stakes. Uh, I don't think these races are in a class, with the Japanese horse. But again, it's 20 to 1 on an X Factor, a horse that can beat, 16 other horses in a group race. Even if we don't know how good the quality of that group race was, that's an accomplishment. So yeah, Invincible Papa has had 2 turf races, 1 for 2, close-up finish in the other one. Yeah, this one's going to be on my trifecta ticket somewhere. If I can play a trifecta, there's a lot of contenders here to put together, but this is one I can't leave out.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to be embarrassed. I'm going to be a little embarrassed about what I'm going to say at the end of this, but because I don't think there's a trifecta play in here that I see for most of the fans. But that being said, I don't like this horse based on the fact of what the other Japanese horses have done in all of the sprint races. The thing is, the problem has been is that when they open the gate, all the Japanese sprinters are 8, 9 lengths behind out of the gate. And that's just not conducive. It's not the case with the English and the Irish horses that come over here. They seem to be able to be competitive early in the races in these sprint races. And Japan had the huge favorite in this race last year. Horse broke terribly, never picked up his feet. The races that were run, and everybody said the Japanese didn't run any good, but they ran good in the mile. They ran good in the mile and a half on turf. They just didn't win, and they were a little under the radar. And then you get to the dirt sprint, and those sprinters, when they broke, there were two of them that were really bet, and both of those horses were 8, 9 lengths off the pace early, and they never got involved. That would be my issue with the 12. I did try to watch the races. I did get sheet numbers on the horse that are competitive. The races look good. I hate the post, and I hate the fact that the Japanese horses aren't getting involved early. But to me, this horse is a toss.
Okay, we have our opinion, Steve, and now it's time to put our money where our mouth is, so to speak. Who are your top three in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint?
No, I think you should hit the all box in the pick three. I'm dead serious. We just went through it. I had kind of gone through it. I knew it was a tough race that we picked. I'm going to give you my top horse and I'll give you my top three. I don't think this is the worst all box race to use. I think there's like three horses that would really surprise me. And you don't want to take those three horses out. I mean, Governor Sam has Flavian Pratt. I like nothing about that horse. Bear River has James Graham. And I think there was one other 9-year-old horse. Of the other than those three, I really could see almost anybody in here. So I don't mind you doing that. But these are the three that I like the most. She's So Spicy is going to be third. I really wanted to like this horse first. I just think there's too much speed in here for her. If the break goes well for her and the first couple 100 yards go good for her, she's got an excellent chance to upset in here. But I think this race is going to set up for somebody that's coming from off the pace. The best off the pace runner is my second horse in here. That's Notorious. I hate the rail draw for him. I know he ran second here last year, but he's fast. He's fresh. It's Diamano. I think he comes running. But my number one horse is going to be Arizona Blaze because I think he's going to fall into a really good trip. I wish he was a little bigger price. I liked his race here last year. The reason he lost the race last year is the horse had a better kick than he did. So this rider is going to really need to put this horse in the right spot and move at the right time. The horse exploded and just got him late because he was really in position to win. But I think this horse is going to really get a great trip because the horses inside of him are big closers. That puts them on the rail. The rails are obviously going to be at zero. That favors the inside. And this horse is really going to get the Del Mar trip right behind what I think is going to be a big speed duel. So I'm picking Arizona Blaze to win the fifth race in a race that I could literally see 10 out of 12 of these horses winning.
Yeah, I'm at 9 out of 12, Steve, but I think we're pretty much on the same page. All right. So anyway, I am going to make this a little bit easier because I'm going with three horses exiting what I think is the key race indicator for this race, the best quality race, and that's that Group One, Bar One, Racing Flying Five, won by Arizona Blaze. I am not going to pick Arizona Blaze on top. My third horse is going to be the third finisher, Bucanero Fuerte. Bucanero Fuerte ran huge. I think the running line doesn't justify it. Much better horse than 20 to 1. I think Umberto Rispoli's familiarity with the Del Mar layout is a big advantage, but I do think losing Colin Keane it certainly hurts, and obviously Colin Keane had a choice to make and didn't choose this one. Bucanero Forte is my third horse. My second horse is Arizona Blaze, the one that David Egan took off to ride him. Done nothing wrong. Experience over this course. Egan gets the ride and Rispoli doesn't. I don't think Rispoli is thrilled with that, and I think he's going to be out for a little revenge. And he's got a good enough horse that he can make a run at it. It's going to be a different race around 2 turns, but Arizona Blaze is proven around 2 turns. But my number one horse, yeah, this is going to surprise a few people, and but I'm going to look like a genius if I'm right, and I'm going to look like not such a genius if I'm wrong. But I am going with the horse that Colin Keane chose out of that same key race, and that's number 7, She's Quality. She's Quality not only ran a good fourth in a big field behind Arizona Blaze, going on a flat distance of 5 furlongs, and now goes around 2 turns for, as far as I can tell, maybe the first time in her career. She hasn't gone to, or 1 turn. She hasn't gone around a turn in any of her last 10 races, at least. I don't know if she did earlier. I don't have, full past performances going back 23 races. But I think this horse could improve going around 1 turn, like Colin Keane getting aboard, like the fact that after that key race, ran a race that was probably just as good, shipping over to France in the Group 1 Prix de la Abeille, probably mispronouncing that, but finished a close third to a very, very good horse over there in Asfora. And this one's been facing males in every race that you see, despite being a filly. So I just think She's Quality has an upset chance. Last year, this race, well, not this race, but one of the sprint races was won by Starlust, a huge long shot. And I just think this is the kind of field where you could get another 30 to 41
You
shot.
sure
She,
could.
She's Quality is my pick.
You sure could. I'm going to say one thing here, and this, and I don't know if this is going to help the folks or not, but Americans have really done well in this race. They have dominated this race. Last year, you had a Euro win, but the year before, it was an American horse. All the times they ran it at Del Mar, it's been American horses. Peter Miller won it both times before last year, and this is the fourth year here. And Americans have really, really done well because speed does really well, and we're breeding all our horses for speed. So and I'm not saying the Euros can't win. I just want people to know how wide open this race really is. I can be contrarian to anybody in here. This is a very, very wide open race for sure. And again, we both ended up on some horses, and I think you made a terrific case. Folks, when you're looking at graded horses and you see a horse get beat a length and a half, like She's Quality, I mean, this horse ran really well. I watched her. I said, boy, she was slightly outrun by Arizona Blaze. And I'm making that my top horse. She ran really, really well in that race. And I'll tell you what else. I think she's going to trip out because she has a little bit more speed. And this is very important to me. She's got more speed than the likes of Motorius and Reef Runner. And then she's got a horse like Bring Home the Gold inside of her that is going to be in front of her. And if she can move over, you got to come into Del Mar. If you can come in the 1 or 2 path, if you got to circle and get to the outside, it's going to be tough. But if you were inside early, maybe you can do it. But that's why I like the trip that my horse is going to get. But Jay, I like the trip that I think She's Quality is going to get. And that's an automatic look for me in a big field at 5 furlongs at Del Mar. Can the horse get the trip? And the answer for She's Quality is most definitely. So I'm going to give your horse a chance as well.
Well, thank you, Steve. So we're just about at the end of the show. We've already done our analysis a couple of days ago for the Breeders' Cup Classic. But Steve, I'm just kind of curious. If you're looking at how you're playing the Classic, is this, yeah, obviously we always look for horizontal exotics. We try to put together pick fours, especially on Breeders' Cup Day, and because that's where the attention is. I'll probably give a better chance as far as putting together a pick four. I haven't put my I have kind of a preliminary card together. I have not put my final card together. So if you see something posted before this show, it may change. Go back in. But because I'll do my final handicapping tonight, and it should be up in the next couple of hours. But when you look at these races, sometimes when you're playing, say a pick four or a pick three. You can't, play 5 or 6 horses in every race. It becomes unaffordable. So when you look at the classic and you look at that sequence of races, which so many of our viewers are interested in, is the classic one that you would try to spread, or is it one that you would try to narrow down?
It's a race I would try to narrow. Because I think there's some races where you could spread. But and especially it's obviously not going to be easy to it's not going to be as easy to narrow down. Um, but I would say I would go either 3 deep or 4 deep in here for me. And when we had talked about it, um, Fierceness was not in my top three, but he's an obvious contender and can win this race. But I think that the top spot in this race is either Sierra Leone is going to get another setup and he's going to win, or Mindframe is going to come out and show how good he's really been. And my third horse, when we did the analysis, was Antiquarian. I would be okay with you using four horses because I think Fierceness has to be used. I was just taking a stand against him because I think the rail is not a great spot for him to draw in this race. So either I would go with my top two in there, or I would go with four.
Yeah, for me, Steve, as I mentioned, I had supported Antiquarian in, I think it was that Whitney race that he wound up winning when there was all that damage. I think obviously it would have been a different story if Phineas Fogg hadn't decided to play bumper cars with half the field. But nevertheless, I had Antiquarian on the ticket, but I'm not going to use him today. I've got to go five deep, and I'm going to have to use Fierceness and Sierra Leone and Mindframe. Obviously, I picked journalism on top. I think journalism is going to certainly improve. We'll see if he improves enough to win. And I've got to use the Japanese horse Forever Young, even though he hasn't beaten most of these best horses. He's been in the ballpark, and I'd hate to leave that one off. So with five horses, I'm going to have to find another race in the pick four sequences to narrow down a little bit. This is something that I have a couple of hours to do and make my own, not only for any modifications I might make to the posted card that we sell at racingjason.com, but also for my own personal betting. Because obviously, you and I give out every race. We give out exotics on most of the races. We were not exactly paupers here, Steve. We've been known to put a few dollars through the windows, especially you. But at the same time, even we can't bet every one. So we have to kind of pick and choose and decide where we're going to get the most bang for our buck. But there will definitely be a pick four centered around the Breeders' Cup Classic, and you're going four, I'm going five. It sounds like.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like through that race. Now, I'm just trying to look in here, and in that race, there's three races after it. So that race starts the late pick four. I do have a strong opinion in those last three races. So I will probably start that pick four out with all four of those horses.
Okay.
Uh, I haven't finished yet and I haven't put my stuff up yet, but it will be up very shortly. But I will probably start out, I'll probably use all four of those horses, Jay.
Yeah, yeah, you just really have to be strategic. It's kind of like, during the regular part of the season, sometimes these cards are so paltry that you're just like, is there something I can play? And on Breeders' Cup Day, we're like kids at a candy store. Wow, there's so much I can play. I just can't play every one of them.
Yeah, but I think if you really want to finish ahead, you know, you got to go through all of them and then take your two or three best opinions and build your day around those. And I would not hesitate to play exotics into those races. And you got to be able to cover some of these other races. Again, if that Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, if you liked the Jay's horse or you like something that I said or something that you like, that's fine. But that's a prime example right there of a race where we could make a case for almost every horse. And I don't think we've ever had that as we were going through this, and I was going, well, I don't really have him in my top six or seven. And you're going, I like this horse for number one. And I'm looking at him, I'm going, I can't disagree with that. That to me is the kind of Breeders' Cup race. And again, maybe this will be the only time that we ever pick a race like that, but we kind of did it at random. And I think that could be a good race for a lot of these people to maybe play at 50 cent with an all. If you want to come back and play She's Quality, which is Jay's horse with a price. My horse that I liked is only 5 or 6 to 1. And that's a tough gig. I like that horse. I think that horse is going to get the perfect trip. But boy, 5 to 1 in that race seems awfully short when you got that many horses that can win. I'd really rather do, I think you've got a better way to play that race. But that being said, I think those pick threes with that race being one of the all bet races, I think could be a good way to go.
Yeah, Steve, I will say this. I mean, I think if Arizona Blaze drifts up to 8 to 1, 10 to 1, Oh, wow. I think I'm on that horse because at that point it's a value, but I suspect the betting is going to go a little bit the other way, and the pricing might be a little shorter than the 5 to 1.
It's
Uh,
possible. It's possible. I just went with the horse that I thought was the most likely to win the race.
and I
Uh,
agree.
and again, we've done a lot of these, and I think that's a good race. And this is the first time I'm saying, hey, this might be a good race to pop that all. Don't be afraid to come back and bet the long shot that you think. And Jay made a great case for a 20 to 1 shot. And I'm reevaluating what I might try to do. I might try to use the all ball and the pick three, and I might come back. It's pretty expensive to do it in a pick 4 or 5 or 6, but it's not expensive to do it in that 50-cent pick three. And remember, the tournament players can't play that. So I think it's a good all ball race. But if there's
Yeah.
a 20 to 1 shot in there that I like, and Jay makes a really good case for a horse that's been extremely competitive with all the horses that are going to be the lower price horses in here, why not in a race that we know is going to be an absolute grab bag right at the end?
Yeah, and Steve, I'll definitely be using Arizona Blaze as well. Obviously, that one that's beaten several of these contenders must be on the ticket. And yeah, I agree. That is the class standout of the race. So I think you're on the best horse. It just maybe the best horse, for those of us that want a price, maybe it's the one day the best horse doesn't come up quite the best position at the final draw. Steve, one thing I wanted to say before we close out the show, one of sovereignty. I thought whatever happened in this race, sovereignty had obviously wrapped up 3-year-old of the year. It didn't matter, if he finished sixth or seventh. I don't think one of these 3-year-olds finally beating him was going to deny him that trophy. I think he's got it. Interestingly enough, I wasn't quite sure that Horse of the Year was as much of a guarantee because remember, Sierra Leone, who wasn't considered a top contender for Horse of the Year, finished strong and won it on that last day when he won the Breeders' Cup Classic. But I really thought that one of these horses, like a Sierra Leone, like a Fierceness, would have had to really beat Sovereignty in the square to even have a chance. And now that, Sovereignty doesn't have to run, I think he's probably sewed up both trophies without running.
There's no way I can argue. The only thing that I was going to argue was if you said anybody. There's no scenario that I see of anybody else winning horse of the year. That's a done deal. This horse has been amazing, and it's so disappointing that we're not going to get to see him. But that being said, I don't see any scenario that anybody can come out and I can go, wow, that was the best horse I saw all year. Because I think that's the criteria for me. Who's the best horse I saw all year? It's Sovereignty.
Yeah, no argument, Steve. Nobody even close. And he won every. He didn't dance every dance like journalism. So, like Jason said, yeah, it was kind of disappointing that he didn't run in the Preakness. And gosh, I wish those people in Maryland now that they're taking over the track from the Stronach Group. It's like we're going to move that thing out a week, give people more rest. Just screw New York if they don't like it. Hey, New York, you're going to have to move again. Your New York, your problems are not my problems. We're losing horses, and that 2 week gap is just too short. New York moved theirs out 40 years ago. People cried a little about it then, but now everybody accepts it. So this 2 week gap to the Preakness and 3 weeks to the Belmont, that's not etched in stone, Steve. That's a relatively recent development.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was tradition, and maybe we need to change that. But this whole thing is just a shame because it always comes down to the fans, and it's just a total random freak thing that this horse had a little fever. And again, I feel real bad that this horse is not going to run because what a treat. What a treat. I mean, Jay, I would have probably bet this race against this horse and kind of been watching the horse that I bet and him. And it would have made the pick five a whole lot easier or the pick six, I'll tell you that much. But it's really disappointing that he's not running because just wanted to get to see this guy run one more time. Maybe we're never going to see this guy again. And I got to say, what do you think? 75% that he's going to be retired?
I really think it depends on, how much offers they get as far as where he's standing. I don't think that's been announced. If I'm wrong about that, I apologize for not being up to that. You've got a pedigree, though, of Into Mischief and a Bernardini mare. That's a really classy pedigree. So I think he's going to stand for top dollar. And do you pass on it for a year and then risk at the same time that, something happens and we've seen it before? So if the offer is rich enough, I don't think we're going to see him. We are going to see journalism again, so that's good news. And I think he'll only get better at four. But
Yeah, I mean, he could become the best horse in the country. There's no doubt about it. He could definitely become the best horse in the country. Got a
yep,
lot of talent. Again, I didn't like him for this weekend. You do a little bit. We'll see which way he goes. He certainly is an incredibly talented horse. He looks like he's got so darn much talent. Uh, this is a definite horse to be excited about next year. Glad he's coming back. But I don't know. We're going to see Sovereignty again.
yeah, I hope we do. I hope we see a rematch in the Pegasus. But Steve, we have a couple of more shows left in the year. Obviously, the quality races after the Breeders' Cup, they do start to wind down. This is sort of the lull in horse racing between the Breeders' Cup and when you start to ramp up for the Kentucky Derby. But we will be back for the Turf Festival. Steve's going to host that one. And we'll finish out the year with that normally great opening day card at Santa Anita, headlined by the Grade 1 Malibu. And then we'll take a little break and recharge our batteries. So, looking forward to those last two shows, but not as much as I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, Jay, it's going to be a great day. Everybody, enjoy yourself. Really think this through. Write everything down. Where's my best bets today? Where are my best bets? Where am I going to make some money? Don't be afraid if you're playing the main track sprint races to watch those sprint races. I'm telling you to watch the sprint races early before you lock in on anything. If there's an outside bias in there in that Breeders' Cup sprint, there could be an opportunity to play against a horse like Copion, who I'm really cheering for. I really want to see Richard Mandela do well. But we also want to do well ourselves, and we can't always be rooting for who we're rooting for as far as who we really want to see win for the sport. You want to win for betting. It's kind of an individual thing there. And I think it's going to be real important. And again, remember to watch that early sprint race, see how that horse did from the rail. How does the rail look in the filly mare sprint? Again, that's a 7 furlong race, but there is a 6 furlong early. So definitely check that out. Don't put as much credence into that at a mile and a quarter. I don't particularly like the inside, mostly because of what we saw happen to Fierceness, because I've seen that happen to a lot of horses at Del Mar in that mile and a quarter, and that same thing at a mile and an eighth at Santa Anita on the turf with those temporary rails like that. These horses can duck right there. And I knew that before the Pacific this year,
Yeah.
but I would really not put a whole lot of credence. I think the outside's fine there. Play the horse that you like the most. I wouldn't worry as much about what those sprint races did for bias for that or the distaff race later.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Steve, we will, of course, be doing cards throughout the Del Mar meet. And then, obviously, we'll be going straight through to opening day. I don't think either you and I are doing Los Alamitos. But as far as what you've got going, that'll be posted tonight on the Racing Jason site. What do you have to offer?
Got a full card. It's the same price as it always is, but I'm also offering the best plays. Those are the same price. We didn't increase anything. And then I am also offering what's called the big boy. And I have done this now for about 10 years. It is $50. So it is double the price. But if you're interested, if you have a bankroll somewhere north of $3,000 and you want to bet supers and pick fives, I'm going to have several superfectas on there that are maybe a cost for $1 or somewhere in the $300 to $500 range. If that's way out of your league, I'm going to have the same horses. I'll probably add a few horses for the bottom spots in the superfecta, and maybe a few all balls that I wouldn't have had on the regular line. The regular line and the big boy line will have the same quality horses. If you're just looking for my selections to bet it your way, then just do the regular line, and that will be up very soon.
All right. And I will be just offering my usual full Breeders' Cup card and my Breeders' Cup best bets. They will be posted very shortly because there's a little delay between when we record this video and when it drops on YouTube. Those picks may already be posted by the time that you see this. But have a great day tomorrow, everybody. Steve, enjoy it. Hope you do very well for yourself as well as for your many followers. And let's bring home some cash and let's have some fun talking about it.
The same to you, Jay, and great analysis on the show today. You brought some good points. Some things that you said really caught my attention, and I hope you folks enjoyed it and have a great day. Enjoy yourselves out there. This should be a lot of fun.
You as well, Steve. I'll definitely be using a couple of those picks that you threw in as well that I wasn't considering. All right, Breeders' Cup Saturday tomorrow, the classic. Let's have some fun. See ya.